Hello? Hello? Anybody in there? Did you kill the driver? Whoa, whoa, what are you doing? What? What? No. Oh, wait a second. Wait.
It's 2 a.m. in London. The city above is alive, with noise, lights, and people who have somewhere to be. But deep underground, in the belly of the tube system, something else exists entirely. Kate is at a party she doesn't want to be at. She's beautiful, dressed well, holding a glass she barely touches. She's heard that Jude Law's somewhere at this event, and in her mind, that's her ticket out of the night she's already tired of. She slips away from the crowd, leaves the warmth and the noise, and heads for the underground. She just needs to get to the Charing Cross station. She just needs to catch the last train. She doesn't know yet that missing it will be the least of her problems. Down in the station, the platform is empty, the kind of empty that makes the air feel different, thicker, quieter. Wrong. Kate finds a bench and waits. She's tired, a little drunk, and completely alone. That combination is dangerous in any city, but in a London Underground station at 2 a.m., it's something worse than dangerous. She closes her eyes. She sleeps. And when she opens them again, the station looks exactly the same. Same fluorescent light buzz, same cold tile floor, same tunnels stretching into absolute black on both ends. But something has changed. She can feel it before she can name it. The trains have stopped running. She's missed the last one. Now, what most people would do in this situation is find an exit, call a cab, and go home irritated but fine. Kate tries exactly that. She moves through the station looking for a way out, trying doors, pressing against locked gates. Every exit is sealed. The station has been locked down for the night, standard procedure for a closed underground line. She is, technically, trapped. That's terrifying on its own. But then...
Don't you check them before you lock up? Huh?
She hears something. Movement. Down on the tracks. In the dark. She tells herself it's nothing, a rat, the system settling. London Underground is old, it groans, it breathes, it makes noise. She presses herself against the wall and waits. And then a train pulls in. Not a scheduled train, not an announcement, just headlights growing in the dark tunnel and the low mechanical groan of something arriving that shouldn't be there. Kate is confused but relieved. Maybe she can still get out. She steps toward the doors as they open. A man gets on. His name is Guy. She knows him slightly. He's a colleague or was once, someone from her social circle, which in this moment makes him the most comforting face in the world. She starts talking too fast, moving too close. He has that particular energy of someone who thinks an isolated situation is an opportunity. He tries to assault her. Kate fights him off. She screams. She pushes. And then something drags Guy away. Not pushes, drags. Like something reached out of the dark between the cars and simply took him. The train doors close. The train moves. Kate is alone again. She's breathing hard against the window, staring into the darkness as the tunnel walls streak past. She has no idea what just happened. She has no idea what took Guy. She has no idea that whatever it is It already knows she's here. The train stops. She gets off. She runs. Kate is running through tunnels now. Real tunnels, maintenance corridors, service passages, the hidden skeleton of the underground system that normal passengers never see. The London Underground system is enormous. Most people don't realize this. What commuters use daily is only a fraction of the actual network. There are abandoned stations, sealed-off lines, entire sections of tunnel that haven't been used in decades. Some of them go back to the Victorian era. Down here, the architecture changes. The tiles give way to bare brick. The lighting gives way to dark. The sound of the city above becomes a distant murmur. And then, nothing at all. Kate moves carefully, trying doors, trying to find anything that leads up. She finds Guy. What's left of him. He's alive, barely, bloody, broken in a way that suggests something was done to him deliberately, not accidentally. She grabs him, tries to help him move, tries to understand what she's seeing, but Guy can barely speak. And then she sees something else. A figure, in the dark, watching. It moves away before she can fully see it. That is somehow worse than if it had stayed, because now she knows it's aware of her. It saw her see it, and it chose to disappear instead of confront her, which means it's not afraid. It's patient. She finds George and Mandy. They're a couple, homeless, living in the tunnels. This is important, and it's also something many people don't know. The London Underground has historically sheltered homeless populations in its abandoned sections. During the Blitz in World War II, thousands of civilians slept on the platforms. In the decades since, some of London's most vulnerable people have used the deep tunnels as informal shelter, invisible to the city above, surviving in the dark below. George and Mandy are two such people. They've made a life down here. They know the tunnels, they know the risks, and they know something else lives here too. They won't say exactly what, but the way George talks about it, quietly, carefully, like a man who has learned not to make noise when discussing certain things, tells Kate everything. This isn't new. This isn't an accident. Whatever is hunting her has been here a long time. George tries to help her find a way out. He knows a path, a maintenance route that connects to a surface exit near Charing Cross. If they can reach it, they can get out. It's not simple, but it's possible. They move together through the tunnels. What Kate doesn't know, what she can't know yet, is that she's already being followed. Not chased, followed. There's a difference. Chasing is panic. Following is deliberate. Following means the thing behind her is confident. It knows these tunnels the way she knows her apartment, every turn, every door, every dead end. It grew up here. And then Guy, who was barely alive, goes quiet, and the sound from behind them gets closer. George tells them to run. They run. 99 people will watch Kate run through that tunnel and never hit subscribe. You just spent real time down here with her. In the dark, the cold, the silence before something moves. That's not nothing. Subscribing costs you zero. Not a second, not a penny. But it means you're part of the rare few who show up when the story goes somewhere most channels won't. We go deeper. Subscribe. In the tunnels aren't done yet.
Is this enough? He's dead! Now get me out of here!
His name is Craig. That detail alone is one of the most disturbing things about this film, and about the reality it draws from. He has a name. He was a person. He's not a ghost, not a demon, not something supernatural. He is a human being, or something that was once a human being, who has been living underground so long that he has become something else entirely. Craig is disfigured, severely. His face and body suggest a history of medical experimentation. There are surgical implements nearby when Kate eventually finds his space, old equipment, restraints. The suggestion of procedures done in the dark with no consent and no oversight. What happened to Craig in that underground room and who did it, the film doesn't fully explain, but the evidence is there. Someone made him this way. This is where the film operates in genuinely disturbing psychological territory. Craig is not evil in the simple Hollywood sense. He's broken. He was broken by people. What he does now is horrifying, but the horror has a human origin, which makes it worse, not better. It means someone is responsible. It means this didn't have to happen. George is killed. It happens fast. One moment he's there, guiding Kate through a passage he knows well. The next, Craig. The violence is brutal and quick, the way real violence is, without the choreography of action movies. George doesn't get a speech. He doesn't get a heroic last stand. He just stops existing. And Kate has to keep running, because stopping means she stops existing too. Mandy is taken. This is where the film crosses into something genuinely nightmarish. Craig doesn't just kill. He has a place, a hidden room deep in the tunnel network, far from any section of the underground that appears on any map. It looks like a medical space. It has been converted into something else, something personal, something that reflects whatever fractured internal world Craig inhabits. Mandy is alive in there, for now. Kate finds the room. She sees what Craig has done. She sees the surgical tools, the restraints, the evidence of previous victims. And she understands, fully, for the first time, what she walked into when she fell asleep on that bench. This isn't a robbery. This isn't a random assault. This is Craig's world, and she is inside it. The instinct here for most people is to run. Kate's instinct is also to run. Kate is alive, and Kate is the only person who knows it, and the exit is on the other side of Craig's space. Every option she has involves going closer to the thing she needs to escape. There is something psychologically relevant happening in this part of the film that goes beyond horror. Kate is an affluent woman, well-dressed, moving through London's social world, thinking about celebrity parties and the people who attend them. She fell asleep in a tube station because she'd had too much to drink. She woke up in a world she didn't know existed beneath the city she thought she understood. Craig, the homeless people living in the tunnels, they exist in a London she has never had to see, and now she cannot unsee any of it. The underground in this film is not just a location. It is a metaphor for everything that lives beneath the surface of a comfortable life. The suffering, the abandoned, the broken things that society puts underground and locks the gates on and hopes stays quiet. It doesn't stay quiet. Kate tries to save Mandy. She gets into the room. She finds Mandy restrained on what looks like a surgical table, alive but barely conscious, in a state of shock that goes beyond fear into something quieter and more devastating. Kate works at the restraints. She talks to Mandy, trying to keep her present, trying to keep them both calm enough to function. And then Craig comes back. What follows is the most sustained sequence of pure terror in the film, not because of special effects or jump scares, but because of space. The underground room is small. There is nowhere to go. Craig is between Kate and the exit. He is stronger than her and faster in this environment than she is. He knows every inch of this space. Mandy doesn't make it. This is the film's cruelest beat. Kate works to save her. She gets close, And it isn't enough. The film doesn't soften it or cut away early. It shows you the consequence, and then it shows you Kate's face afterward, the moment when she understands that she could not save her, that there was not enough time, that the system failed Mandy long before Craig did. Nobody knew Mandy was down here. Nobody was looking for her. Nobody was coming. Nobody is coming for Kate either. There's a worker, Arthur, a maintenance employee who knows the underground well enough to navigate it, who initially encounters Kate and almost becomes her salvation. Almost. He's cautious, a little frightened himself, trying to understand what's happening. He helps Kate navigate toward what might be an exit, a route he knows, a shaft that leads up. Craig finds him first. Kate watches it happen from a distance too great to do anything, and something shifts in her in that moment. The hope of rescue, the idea that someone from the normal world above would come down and pull her out, is gone. There is no rescue. There is no arrival. There is only her and the tunnels and Craig somewhere in the dark. This is the part of the film that functions as something beyond horror. It asks a genuine question. What do you do when the thing hunting you cannot be reasoned with, cannot be escaped, knows its environment better than you know yours, and has nothing to lose? Kate has been running and hiding and hoping. None of it has worked. The only variable she hasn't tried is fighting. She stops running. She starts thinking. The tunnels, she realizes, are not just Craig's advantage. They are also full of things. Tools, materials, the detritus of decades of underground infrastructure, cable, metal, pipes. The same industrial bones that built the underground can be used as weapons if you're desperate enough and smart enough to think clearly when every instinct is screaming. Kate is about to find out if she is. She prepares. She waits. And Craig, patient, deliberate Craig, who has been doing this a very long time, walks into her trap. The fight is not clean. There is no triumphant musical swell, no slow-motion moment of the hero finally defeating the monster. What happens in these final tunnels is ugly and desperate and real in the way that survival is always ugly and desperate and real. Kate uses everything she has. She uses the environment. She uses the cable she found. She uses the raw animal fact that she is not yet dead and intends to stay that way. Craig is not easy to stop. He has survived down here for years. Whatever he was before, whatever was done to him, has produced something with a threshold for pain and damage that a normal person doesn't have. He keeps coming. Kate keeps fighting. She finds the shaft, the way up, the vertical access point that leads to the surface, to the street, to the city that has been going about its business entirely unaware of what has been happening 60 feet beneath it. Craig follows. The sequence in the shaft is the film's final sustained terror, enclosed, vertical, the light above and the dark below, Kate climbing while Craig climbs after her. Every second she gets closer to the surface, he gets closer to her. She reaches the top. She climbs out. She is on a London street, early morning. The city is waking up. Cars, a few pedestrians. Normal life completely indifferent to what just happened underground. Kate is bleeding, shaking, barely clothed, absolutely destroyed, and she is standing on a pavement in central London while people walk past her. The film ends without a neat resolution. Craig is not confirmed dead. The tunnels are still there. The room is still there. The evidence of what happened to the people Craig took, none of it surfaces. The gates to the underground lock behind her. The city seals back over it. London keeps moving. This is what the film leaves you with, and it is more disturbing than any monster. Not the creature, but the system. The underground, the real one, not the horror movie version, has hundreds of kilometers of tunnels, many of them sealed, many of them unused, some of them unmapped in their oldest sections. The people who fall through the cracks of London's social structure sometimes literally disappear underground. George and Mandy were living proof of that. Craig was living proof of something darker, of what can happen to a person is abandoned completely, when the city above decides something is too broken to acknowledge and locks the gate. Kate walked into a world that exists precisely because the surface world ignores it. She walked back out. Most people who end up down there don't. There's a specific psychological term for what Kate experienced across this night, acute stress response, which is the clinical name for what happens to the human nervous system during prolonged life-threatening situations. Heart rate, tunnel vision, heightened sensory awareness, the dissociation that comes after, when the body finally understands that the threat is gone but can't quite believe it. Kate shows every stage of this across the film's runtime, and it's one of the things that makes it land harder than most horror films. She reacts like a real person, not a genre character. She stands on that street. She's shaking. She doesn't scream or collapse dramatically. She just stands there, breathing, while London carries on around her, and the camera pulls back, down into the pavement, through it, back underground. The tunnels are dark. The tunnels are quiet. But the tunnels are not empty. Most people watched this whole thing and kept scrolling. You stayed through every tunnel, every locked gate, every moment she almost didn't make it. That's not an accident. Subscribing is free and takes 3 seconds, but it means you're the kind of person who stays when it gets dark. This channel goes where most won't. The surface is boring. Subscribe. We go deeper. What haunts you more, Craig himself, or the fact that nobody above ground ever knew any of this was happening? Drop it in the comments. The answer says more about you than you think.